Good morning and welcome, Dr. Singh.
Good afternoon.
Although you need no introduction, I would still give a brief introduction about you for the young HR professionals who are just coming into the field and might be listening to you for the first time. I thank you for accepting my invite to give an interview for my YouTube channel, Making Performance Achievable. Dr. Sen has done extensive work on organization transformation, which has been internationally recognized. He is one of the very few Indian HR professionals who are globally recognized for the work they have done on performance, learning organization, emotional intelligence, and all that, and particularly on performance management systems and how to implement them to get the results that organization desire from such systems. He has also co-authored a book called Fueling Success on the way Hindustan Petroleum was transformed by the initiative in terms of performance management and taking people to a higher level of performance and customer satisfaction. He has also received appreciation from Harvard Business School on various occasions for participation in various studies. He has also shared stage with Dr. Robert Kaplan and Peter Senge, the giants in management thinking and learning systems, as we all know them. He is also a visiting faculty in IIM Kasipur and some other management institute. Welcome, Dr. Sen, and let us start the interview.
Thank you. Thank you for the generous introduction. Really grateful.
It is actually my pleasure and to have you here. And needless to say, you have been one of the seniors that I had who have changed the way I look at performance management system. And basically, what you made me realize is performance management system in many organizations are being used to measure the performance of the employee, while it should be used to measure the performance of the organization. And that was a mind-shifting realization for me, and that has helped me throughout my career over a long period of time.
Thank you.
So my first question to you would be, how important, and this is areas we rarely talk about in management, and particularly when we are talking about performance from team members in the organization, how important is mission and vision to achieve great performance in an organization?
That's a good question. The vision actually answers a simple question. What do I want to achieve? What do we wish to create? If it's a shared vision for the organization, what do we wish to create? What do we wish to achieve? Where shall we reach? It talks about a destination. It talks about a picture of the future that you wish to be part of in the creating process. And therefore, without that picture, my activities are directionless. Vision is direction setting. It is setting the direction. It is telling you the end goal. It is outcome that you wish to have. And when we do not have that in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 30 years, maybe 50 years, where do I want to reach? People will not be able to correlate their routine activities to something that is important for the organization. And therefore, the magic of meaning is absent from your work. You are just doing an activity. The organization also becomes directionless. Today it is investing in one area, tomorrow in another, third day in some other project, because it just doesn't know what it wants to achieve. So it's not only important for the founders, the top management to know the vision, it is also important for every member to know the vision of the company. Where are we going? Where are we going? What is the end point? The mission, the purpose, because the mission is basically a purpose of the company, tells you why do we exist. So for example, if Walt Disney knows the reason for its existence is to actually bestow happiness to a large number of people who visit them or see their movies, who visit Disneyland, then they create offerings, produce actually say wonders like a Disneyland, or create great movies, behave in a particular fashion where people can locate happiness. It is happiness delivered. So if you want to deliver a product, a service, I should know why actually I'm doing that. Your answers come from the reason for your existence. So if innovation is important to a company, it's its mission to make a technological contribution to the society at large. If they're doing routine bogus, routine boring things, then they are not living their mission statement, their purpose statement. Life without a purpose for an individual is meaningless. Life without purpose for an organization is meaningless. And it may be very interesting because years back I was discussing with R.E.D. Goss, who was the head of Shell Learning. And he did a research on longevity of organizations. One of the things they found was organizations which lived long had an identity. Mission and vision, I believe, is your identity card, is your calling card, right? It's not something nice to be put up, it's something essential that needs to be discussed, deliberated, and then consciously acted on by every constituent of the organization. So that's my take. So in performance objectives, if it is not aligned to where you want to go in the long term, what you want to live for, then your performance is what, or what is the performance you are measuring, what is the performance you are asking for. That's my take.
So interesting. What you say, I can completely relate with, because I have worked in organizations where we did great things, and I have worked in organizations where we did not do great things. So it is so relatable to what actually happened. Thanks for putting it in so many words so that it is easier to understand for all of us. The other question emerging from this, which I would want to ask you, is what are the various things or actions or initiatives that organizations take when they have to ensure that people across the organization understand the vision and mission and translate it and relate to it as they act? What needs to be done? Because that communication rarely happens. So question in some organization, I know some organizations are doing a great job in doing this, but I would want to know from you, how do organizations go about ensuring that employees across the organization are aware and relate to their mission and vision?
I spent years to actually help large number of teams create a co-created vision for Hindustan Petroleum. Also deliberate on its mission or purpose. So it takes years at times, and it's a continuous process. Leader needs to say again and again and again, where are we going? Where are we headed for? What is the purpose? Is it a one-time activity? No. It's a leadership activity to be daily thought of, acted on, and therefore the communications actually are something that will be on a regular basis. Otherwise, it will soon become a painting on the wall. It should move hearts. It should be a force in people's hearts. And if they don't deliberate on it, if they don't discuss it, if they don't challenge it, if they do not alter it, especially the vision. Visions are not cast in stone. They change as time changes. You achieve something, you want something new. So visions are not cast in stone. So the more they deliberate, the richer it becomes, and the more people become accountable for achieving it. Whether it is in small groups that you discuss, what does this vision mean to you? A simple question, what does this vision mean to you? What does it mean to you in terms of the activities that you now need to do and the activities you now need to discontinue? Right? How does it energize you? So what will you stop doing? What will you start doing? What will you continue doing? How do they actually meet the objectives of the vision? Questions are a great way to get commitment. A leaders ask this question. They can talk about the vision, but they don't actually advise people what to do for the vision. They ask and inquire of them. And that involvement brings commitment. That's the key part. And we have seen, for example, when people wrote, we want to delight our customers. So it's an easy statement. It's a motherhood statement. It's an acceptable statement for each one of us. But what actually was important was when the chairman and then directors and then senior people started asking as time went on to the youngest officers, to the frontline officers, how are you going to delight customers? So if it was a LPG connection, cooking gas, people want it on time. People want it leak proof. So many of the things that were started, for example, Jiha services in LPG or in retail, actually came from the inquiries that the senior people did to the younger people who went on to inquire with thousands and thousands of customers all across the country. The funny part is, while you have heard it earlier, you have not been aware of it earlier. When there is conscious attention and complete attentiveness to the vision, your hearing actually changes from a physiological to a mental activity. And then you act. So that is why leaders must discuss, ask questions, talk about it in smaller forums, in larger forums, in city halls, and in regular conferences repeatedly. All modes are fine. Many modes are fine. You can write messages, you can write blogs, you can scream at the top of your voice, you can discuss by asking questions. Any mode is fine. Multiple modes are necessary. And not once, but on a constant, continuous basis. That is when, over a period of time, organizations become the mission, become the vision. They
So
transform.
well said.
So thank you.
So well said. So well said. The other aspect, which I believe is the core of the softer side of making an organization, are the values.
Mhm.
Okay. What is the importance of values being understood across the organization, and how does that help to focus on the objective that we have on hand to achieve as an employee team organization?
Values are, it's an interesting question because values we see in every company, written down 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, 2, whatever. Integrity, innovation, respect for the individual, so on and so forth. Um, so say delighting the customer, so many values we see.
Yeah.
And I have often asked people, how do you live these values? And they couldn't answer, many of the executives. So what we know is they're just nice words, not necessary tenets of culture. They're not the doctrines that need to be followed. They're nice pieces, phrases written down in the corridors. So for example, hospitals talk about, some of the hospitals, that saving lives is the most important thing. And even in death, they don't forgive you the money. And then sometimes they have been hauled up for doing things which are not ethical. So in a large number of organizations, we see that they don't live their values, but values are contracts that you actually make with the society, with the community, with your employees on how should we behave, how will we operate. And violation of the values are violations of contract. That is how you promise you'll do your business. The problem with organizations is they don't write down the values in terms of the behaviors expected. So when we say respect for the individual, it could be mean that do I listen with complete attention and factor in those suggestions in the solutions to see if they are possible to be factored in or not is another matter. Do I try to factor them in? So when I say integrity, do I do what I profess, preach? Do I keep my promises to the customer? So when they're converted to behaviors, they can be actually measured because they're observable, they're measurable. And a violation can be pointed out. If not, it doesn't really matter. Even when converted to behaviors by a consultant, it holds little water. They need to be discussed. The best actually value conversions to behavior happens by the teams themselves, happens within the organization. You can get the facilitator to facilitate that process, but it must emerge from within rather than be dictated from without. What is important to you? Values should tell you what is it we value, what is important to us, how shall we operate. So the more you can live those values through the behaviors that we all agreed on, the more there is congruence between what you have promised and what you have done. That, I believe, is essential for an organization. So that's why they must be measured as a part of your performance. It's because in an organization, if you actually meet your sales target but leave 100 dead bodies, is it okay? So we see the behaviors absent, the business results probably okay. Both are necessary. Values dictate the behaviors, they need to be measured. So that's my thought process. That's my thinking.
So well said. In this whole discussion that I am having with you, one thing emerges, which I have always been very aware of, is the role of leadership in ensuring that objectives are objectives are there on one hand, but we don't lose focus of mission, vision, and our values, as you say. So what are the suggestions you would give to leaders so they can help and facilitate this process of employees and they living it?
So what does a leader do? What is his role? What is our role? Leaders actually ensure motivation, energy through goals which are meaningful. You will perform an activity to achieve a goal, but your chemistry will be high when you understand the meaning behind winning that match.
Yes.
So from mere activity, if you want to have complete commitment, you need to actually see that the vision is held on. Leaders hold on to the vision. Even in trying times, in difficult times, they don't let the vision go. They don't say that when the good times come, we will again think of a vision. They do not do anything in the short term which will destroy the long term. And that is why managers set goals, leaders give a vision, or at least help you create a vision. Managers set goals. It's very important for the leader to do that. Second part is they don't micromanage, they don't manage individually. Values help them to manage large groups. So a statement like non-violence, a Mahatma cannot, oversee individuals which are in crores. So values ensure that the populace follows it because they love the value and they have accepted it as their own. So they don't follow or measure you on your performance measurement on a day-to-day basis by micromanaging you or even having regular discussions. They actually give you values and they create frameworks which are something that everybody endear themselves by following, and also something which is dear to everybody. So it's important to you, it's valuable to you. So that's how they govern. On the mission front, as we said, that's important because they define the purpose. Again, they align people. They don't put them into boxes and job roles. They align them to a purpose, they align them to a vision, and they make them operate, or they help them operate with a set of values. That's why this is a leadership function. This is the only leadership function that matters. And leaders cannot escape this, because once they do that, then the group actually fragments into doing whatever it wants to.
Yes.
There's neither direction nor values. So that's why it's so important for leaders.
I know you are pressed for time, and we are almost coming to an end.
Yes.
I will ask one last question before we close it. You very nicely defined the role of leaders.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you from the other end, what is it that employees can do to align with the mission, vision, values of the organization? What are the things that they need to be open to and sensitive to as they do their day-to-day work, so that they can align with it and get a much better motivation and inspiration to do the work they are doing?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because the world is changing. We have too many knowledge workers today. The coal mines, even in the coal mines, we have people who are quite educated, who work and dig out coal. So we really have a lot of knowledge workers today. Maybe we have the luxury which we never envisaged. And the advantage and disadvantage of knowledge workers is, or educated people is, they have a mind of their own. And it's very important for them to not only align, but to be a part of the whole. And therefore, the mission, vision, and value statements will be evaluated, deliberated, debated, dialogued, discussed by them. And as they find congruence, they will align or not align. These organizations today, like a Google, any of these leading organizations you actually can see, they're like a cult-like organization. The values in company A may be pretty different from company B, but those people are completely in sync, and they stay, those who believe in those values stay for long. So in some companies, the amount of work you do, the kind of individual results you make, determines the pay packet, determines the respect, determines everything. In some other companies, it could be teamwork. So if you love teamwork, you want bonhomie, maybe you will join B company. Maybe if you are a lone shark and can work for 20 hours a day and love it, you believe in individual achievement, that's a value for you. You'll align to some other company's values. So people are going to ask, they're going to see if actually their values have a value match with the values that the organization is speaking of. Their purpose in a way gels with the purpose. For example, a lot of engineers would look for innovation, a lot of engineers would look for stability. So people who look for stability may join a public sector, a government organization, not that they don't have innovation, but those who are constantly changing, are the ones who are startups, and people who are very innovative may even join a startup. I'm just giving an example. So you match and see whether your values, your mission, your vision is in sync. If it is, you stay there, you love that, because these are cult-like places. So that's my take, and do it as an individual. You're a knowledge worker. Choose. Let's not crib, but let's choose. Right? So thank you.
So thank you so much, Dr. Sen. I will not keep you
Thank you so
any
much.
longer. Thank you for giving this interview for my channel, and I look forward to many such interactions with you where you will be